Hello, Alice.
Hi, Jessica.
So fun to be sitting with you here on the podcast today, especially because, I just feel like I never get to see you enough.
This is our hangout time. And when we hang out, we talk about things just exactly like this. So I'm really glad that we can share sort of our respective perspectives on the topic today.
I am too. So I want to introduce you all out there, listeners, to those of you who don't know who Alice is. In addition to being my really dear friend, she lives in Hawaii. And just to give a brief intro, she's a nationally award-winning author and life expert, the founder of Happiness You, which is a company specializing in personal growth and workplace well-being. She's written 12 books on self-growth. Yay! And happiness, and works with both local and global organizations, including McDonald's, Walmart, and Gap. And for more than 2 decades, she has helped individuals and businesses navigate challenges with clarity. And so that is Alice, because I deleted the rest of that accidentally.
Okay, that's plenty.
Yeah. So Alice is just a wonderful, I would say, Hawaiian treasure. And it's just been so fun just being your friend and getting to know you since I moved here. But yeah, a lot of what we talk about when we're together are kind of the same topics that we're going to get into today. So I thought we could just, kind of take it from there, like how we do our friend talks. But to get us kind of warmed up, I've been asking these more kind of questions about intuition and boundaries and kind of the things that you've been doing with self-care and taking care of yourself lately. So I'm just curious to know if you've had a boundary that's been helping you. And when I say that, I mean boundaries for me are ways of protecting my energy. So it's very, integrated with self-care. Right?
Yes.
Do you have something you've been pulling on lately, because you're so busy and you have so many demands on you? And I just wonder, what is that one you've been doing?
So I think in order to draw good boundaries, you have to understand your values. And so I think I'm really clear on my values. And so if something becomes a high priority for me, I don't just try to squeeze everything in. I will cut something out that's at the lower value or lower priority. So I maintain boundaries really well that way. I'm fortunate that my work allows me to socialize so much. I literally talk to 90 people a month individually through coaching. So because of that, I get a lot of
that.
I have a lot of social needs. I get paid to talk to people, but then I also get to catch up with people in that real human element. So I think boundaries, how I do it is if I am adding something or something comes on my plate that I didn't want but is necessary, then I literally look to see what can I cut out, and I will never compromise my self time. Never. On my calendar, nobody knows when it is. I guess Aaron does, but I will block out chunks of time where I won't even have my phone or anything. So when I'm busy, I am packing it. I have easily 12 to 14 events, calls, sessions a day. But when I don't, I have nothing. And so I maintain that balance well. And I think it's knowing your values. That's the key for me.
And I'm just going to say here to that, because as your friend, I am constantly amazed that you make time to talk with me. You make the time. We had to schedule this a few months in advance. That's okay. But even just texting, you somehow find that point in the day where even just a minute or two of connecting as a friend. And it is so precious, because I know how busy you are. And I know that you do have to cut things out to make room for things that you care about. And it makes me feel very cared for, that you actually oh my God, she's doing this. And you tell me I'm doing this, and this, and that. And we're still maintaining that nice connection.
You're at the top of my list. There's 6 people I pin. 6 people I pin. There's Aaron and Alan and Danielle. Anyway, you are there as a pin person, which means that if I have a moment, that's where I go to say hello. So again, boundaries. Many people are important to me. I definitely have friends, but you are a priority friend. So priority references. Other friends are not priority friends, so they might not hear from me as much. So it's again, knowing who you are, what's important to you, and holding that and not feeling bad, like, oh, I can't talk to Susie. I feel so bad. It's like, Susie, if she has an emergency, I'm there for her. But
Mhm.
I recognize that I just recognize the boundaries are so clear, who's in, who's out. And I only have
Mhm.
this capacity. So
Yeah.
if something jumps in, something has to come out. And I might even tell you, Jess, I'm super busy. I might not be totally in touch. And you'll be like, I get it.
Yeah.
So I think communication and knowing your values has
Oh, that's
been how I have managed this amount of capacity over the years.
Yeah, because it's like not just it is knowing your values, but it's also like you have a way of stepping into communication and just saying like I can't do this right now or I can do this right now. And there's something also that like it just loops back in. I just find that it's a great feedback system what you're doing and how you're staying connected. Um and not everybody does it and I
Yeah.
aspire in different ways. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a beautiful story. So just to share how what healthy boundary I've been
Yes, I'm
employing
interested.
lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know how I'm always experimenting with new things. I'm always
Yes.
experimenting with new ways of being in my intuition,
Mm-hmm.
ways of connecting with my body, and so there are, I've been going through this pain thing as you know
Yeah.
intimately, and I've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one thing that's really been helping me, so an embodied intuition is really important to me because it's funny. Human design alerted this to me about myself that there's something about, and I'm going to totally botch this because I don't know it well enough to even be bringing it up. But there's a disconnect between the head and the body with my design, and so like they're literally not talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that is so interesting in my astrological chart. I can see like this Chiron is really important. It's on my moon and it's the bridge, right? And so I'm like, that's just another way of looking at that. So at any rate, what's been helping me with pain, in addition to going to a chiropractor, is really like centering back into my body. And I don't know if you remember going in, like when you were young, when fire safety lessons. I don't know if they do this
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Like it's stop, drop, and roll if you ever catch on fire.
Oh, I never knew that. Yeah.
So I learned that when I was younger, and it just like came back to me the other day. Stop, drop, and feel. And I thought, that is interesting. Why is this? So I stopped and I dropped in and
Mm-hmm.
I started feeling my inner sensations. And just like that touchstone, like having a mantra or having like this phrase, right? It
Mm-hmm.
helped me to, well, it always helps me to connect to my body, but it prevents me from injuring myself.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
prevents me from overextending. And it also stop, drop, and feel. I discovered it's like, there's this, not only like, is there a little tweak in my lower back,
Yeah.
like my heart chakra is really open right now. And I'm noticing that I'm having this desire to, try this or maybe, and it's just this another way of listening inward, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So this
It,
has been
yeah.
kind of a healthy boundary and a form of intuition.
Yeah, it just sounds like really multidimensional because we usually focus on one thing. It's like, oh, there's the pain, but when you drop in, there's all this whole spectrum of different places that you can sort of reflect into that allows you to make good decisions. But I can't imagine when you shared, I read one of your Substacks you shared about living with chronic pain and what that meant. And it was so valuable for me to understand what you go through and why you do what you do, because there's a reason for that. And it really helped me have more compassion for other people who share that, because if someone says, I have pain, I don't feel it. So I don't really understand what that means for them. So you were able to articulate
Yeah.
that in a way that actually helped me. I shared it with Erin, our my ops person, and she was really touched by it because we both were so fascinated
Yeah.
of learning something that we knew nothing about. And you describe that so well. So now I understand more about why you have boundaries, why you might say yes or no to something because of
Mhm.
your deep sensitivity.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
is a facet of sensitivity. And also, like, as I talked about, and not to go too far, but like, what,
Hmm.
1 in 10 people in the world have chronic pain. So
Yeah.
they,
Wow.
how many people are you interacting with on a daily basis you don't know because pain is invisible. And that's often a thing I hear. I heard
Mhm.
from a friend, she's told me a couple of times recently because it's been intense. And she goes, but you look normal.
Mhm.
I wouldn't know. And I'm like, well, that's why I'm talking about it more.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like you have a broken arm. It's just
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So, and right now I feel great. I feel great to be talking with you. So when I feel great, I'm like so like free as a bird and so
Yeah.
happy about it. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so cool. So each of us with our boundaries for different reasons. I love
Yeah.
that discussion.
Mhm. Yes.
So what brings us here today is I have been using AI for a while.
Mhm.
Alice has been using AI for longer than I have. I would say that we are, in addition to my husband John, are what marketing calls early adapters.
100%.
We have begun the journey maybe earlier than some people around
Yeah.
us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought it would be such a fascinating topic. And I specifically thought to talk with you about it. And I specifically thought about this timing that we're in right now,
Mhm.
because as astrologers, we know that Uranus has entered Gemini. And Gemini is that sign of information and communication. And Uranus rules technology, just putting two and two together. This is a 7-year cycle. So we have this kind of like, we've known this time is coming, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
also we're early adapters. So I just love to hear like, how what you're doing. And you're doing so much, Alice, with AI. But also like just for our listeners,
Mhm.
you have been talking about this for several years, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I
In your forecasts. So maybe
from
you could just catch us up.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 2016, someone introduced to me the concept of transhumanism, and I'd never heard that word before. And I started looking into that, and that has to do with uh, putting things in your body that makes you survive beyond humans. So that's how I got into it. And then I started finding things about artificial intelligence before anyone even knew the word was there. And what fascinated me was that my initials are AI,
Yeah.
so Alice Inoue, artificial intelligence, but AI in Chinese and Japanese and Asia means love. And so I've always
Wow.
connected the three. So even that AI is coming out more and more because in other languages it means love, I tend to veer on that side of explanation of it, being realistic, of course, but also expanding into how can it be fantastic in many ways. So I got into it long ago. And of course, I was as soon as Chat GPT came out, I was on it. And then I created my first clone, my own clone, which we still use today, which is a coaching clone. And so I've been adapting it so much so that right now we are in the process of just creating our entire intelligence layer of our company on AI so that it becomes run by AI. But I'm saying it in this sense, we have a motto or a little thing that we say is AI for efficiency and humans for connection. So I
Ooh, I
am
love
not
that.
here to get rid of Aaron and Hazel and Lindy. I'm here to give them tools so that we can explore connection more. It's no fun for anybody clicking and tasking and going through and changing file names. If we can use AI to help us with the minutia, the day-to-day, the grunt work, oh my God, the creativity we are learning with AI is so great, the co-creation with it. So I have been enthused by it, watching, of course, all of the negativity and the comments that are coming. I'd love to talk more about that. But yes, for me personally, I am using it to enhance my life.
Absolutely. And yes, high fives to that because I've seen you do it. I've been watching you do this for years. You were talking to me about it before I ever heard anything about it in the news and media. And you were sharing this with your Happiness You people. You guys better get ready because big changes are coming. Don't be afraid of technology. And you just kept like laying the breadcrumbs in the way that you do. And then John started using AI in his research, and I mean he's constantly basically talking about how much he's up leveling.
Yeah.
And he has been able to work through complex problems. He told me that he had a project that had been stuck for close to 9 years that
Oh,
he was able to get through and not only get through, but like turn into something really beautiful and positive. By the way, John is a cancer researcher, so he's working for everybody. So when
yeah.
he
Yeah.
uses AI, he is using it for, public service.
Right.
And I think that is an interesting thing to talk about too, like how we're using it. But just to, just to kind of bookend that and say, we kind of are on the bandwagon of AI.
Yeah.
And it's good to be upfront about that. Like we have experienced positives because some people have not had that experience. So we should talk about I thought the first kind of topic, we
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
dive right into the shadow.
No.
Dive right into the objections and what's going on with that. So we are seeing that there is a backlash for sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because you're not only using AI, you're also staying informed about
100%.
people's experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now I'm working with an organization. It's a fairly large tax and audit firm here in Hawaii. And they actually have a CIO that is moving towards beginning the process of implementing AI into the various layers so that it's not all the busy work, so people can be more creative in what they're doing. And the ones that are maybe, I'll just say Gen Zers, are having this hard pushback on it, so much so that they're even talking about leaving the organization because they don't feel that it's good for the environment, or on and on and on. So I'm seeing it for sure. But what I also tell them is, you watch Netflix all day long. Those things take the energy. Like there are so much more that AI is huge on the table of news right now, but there is so much that is also that they are participating in, that we all are participating in, that is hand in hand with that.
Like when airplanes became
like that's
commercial
one
and
very
available to
simple.
other people.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, so we're gonna not fly to Europe and
Right.
have those experiences. Are you this generation not gonna travel because it takes energy? And one of the things that John always talks about is kind of how, as a physicist, the universe needs to keep expanding, right? And growing. And this takes energy. And for us, the currency of energy often is money and environment, and so like the raw materials from the earth and the money that, that allows the universe to expand and experience itself. And so this is a kind of, a similar time in history. I mean, I'm not sure if everybody understands how big it is. Like it kind of strikes me that like at these revolutionary times, it can just seem like people are living in bubbles, and then all of a sudden we're all in AI world. But at other points in history, we have gone through similar leaps where we've had to make decisions. Are we going to invest energy, time, and awareness in taking precautions and creating safeguards and thinking about safety as we move into this new technology, which is what happened with electricity, for instance,
Right.
or what happened with railroads, or what happened with telephones. So I want to tell you what happened with me. When I was thinking about our discussion that we were going to have today. I actually got onto, I saw something come up on Instagram with Oprah podcast, and the snippet seemed a little bit sensational about AI. And that's what caught me. And I was like, oh, it sounds a little bit fear-based, or what they're talking about. And then I saw that she was interviewing Anthropic, which is behind Claude, and the two founders. And so I just kind of scrolled through the comments because sometimes I do that to kind of take a beat. And as an empath, whoa, the energy that came from that comments about AI was
Uh-huh.
100% fear. Okay, there were a couple people who were really jazzed and had actually listened to the interview,
Right.
but it was a lot of fear. And I usually am able to clear that fear with my own practices, but for whatever reason, I wasn't able to clear it. And so that
Mhm.
caused me to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to figure this out. What are people afraid of?
Mhm.
Right? Like, what
Mhm.
is really going on here? Because I
Yeah.
don't have that fear.
Yeah.
Um, so just to kind of speak to that, is kind of drawing this back in is that, I ended up researching other times, and I'm sure that you have gone through this
Mhm.
too, other periods in history where new technologies have been introduced to the world and the public has had a huge fear.
Yeah. I mean, we can do non-technology. We can talk
Yeah.
about in vitro. Think about when they first were able to do the first test tube baby and how much backlash there
Yeah.
was. And now we're looking at something close to 3 million babies being born by in vitro. First, it was just all the protesters that if it, God wanted you to have a child, you would have. This is messing with human nature, but now it's a thing. It's just what people do. If they want a child, they just go through this process. So in every area of life, we're here to create, right? Expand and create and transcend and evolve and grow. And this is Earth's next transformation. And we're along for the ride, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. I absolutely feel that way as well. And it's exciting actually for me to feel like I'm not alive during the American Revolution. That sounds a lot harder. Where I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, this is like a lot easier of a revolution for me. I imagine with survival stuff
Uh-huh.
going on.
Mhm.
But I do know
Yes.
that it's triggering people's fears, and it has surprised me that it's the younger generation. I always thought when you were like talking to your crowd
My
in your
forecast.
yearly
Mhm.
forecast, like your crowd is a bit older, and you would like encourage them to embrace and
Open. Yeah.
experiment, right?
Yes.
And I thought, oh yeah, it's going to be the older generation that, but it seems like the younger generation, maybe because of the environmental
Yeah.
awareness that's happening. Uh,
That plus they also see that it's taking away things that they would normally be doing. So right now I read a statistic, 43% of 22 to 26-year-olds who have graduated from college, 43% are not working, either A, not working, or B, not working in the jobs they graduated for. So
Right.
there's a lot of anger around that with the young people. The older generation, the fear that they have is they're becoming irrelevant. I have people in their 50s and 60s still in the workforce, and they're being asked to use AI, and it's giving them anxiety. It's just like learning a new software, learning a new tech, but without proper training, there's this huge fear of like not being able to keep up, or not so much losing their job, but not knowing how to do it because AI is so big. It's so simple. All you got to do is start chatting with it, but it
Right.
has the thing like, oh my God, AI, it's so big. So there's different facets of people's fear is what I'm finding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all valid. I mean, I felt such compassion when I read through some of these people's experiences.
Yeah.
And um, I, I mentioned on the last podcast that one of John's employees just up and quit
Yes.
when he said that, hey, you haven't been updating this website for a couple of years now. And I just updated it with AI over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
She was really upset to the point where she quit. She had a real knee jerk, well, whatever. I can't,
Reaction. Yeah.
yeah, I can't speak to her particular experience. I did know that he didn't want her to quit though. And
Right.
that
That was the reason.
he was introducing AI to his group and he felt resistance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And which is interesting because it's a research group and they're real um, anthropic, and we can talk about that later, is
Okay.
actually that they were the founders of Anthropic are researchers.
Yeah.
So that has made that a really excellent tool, I think. But yeah, so she was a younger person, and I have heard similarly that you know, the comments about like losing your humanity and like certain things going away, jobs, like it's interesting when you said that. Like when I graduated college with my degree, I didn't get to do my degree either. Like I don't know. Like there's a bit of a wisdom gap here too. I feel like I sometimes when I hear these things, I'm like, well, I studied this and I didn't get to do that. But nonetheless, compassion, and because too, none of us are being given a handbook about how to use AI. You're having to sign up for courses that you're paying for to learn. And for the average person, it's probably not going to do that. So that's where like conversations like ours, or conversations among friends, or you working with clients and people in corporate settings and helping each other to understand what's happening, I think is a real service.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally a tool, and it's going to be, as we know, in everything and everywhere moving forward. So it's tough. It's a tough one. I feel it. I've a great example is this one woman was so overwhelmed with work. She has to transcribe these meetings and update projects. And I was saying, have you ever tried using AI for that? She's like, oh, I wouldn't even know where to start. So I wrote her a very simple prompt. Now all she has to do is transcribe, just record, dump it in, and it automatically can update all the different people. It's so simple if you understand it. So I think it's just being given this big, thick AI with all the bad and some good. And it's approachable. It's easy. When people say, how did you learn? I said, you just talk to the AI like you would talk to me. They're actually better. They're like, how did you build an AI employee? You talk to the AI and they teach you how to build an employee. I mean, it's that simple. So that's been sort of my message. It's not as complicated as you think, but it's very important to be aware of what's happening right now.
Yes, and very important to also like, okay, let's address like the fears, like what is going on there. Like, so we already mentioned like with the younger people, high energy consumption, and that's real. Okay. And then also we have the fear of having one's job replaced, right? And then there's the sycophantic chat boxes, which can unfortunately lead down. They're kind of sometimes a mirror to your own mentality, and that can be good or bad, depending on where your brain is at the moment. Then there's lack of regulation for minors. So all of this is creating a level of distrust. And so that's why like us talking about it, I think is really, really, and just why I'm like, why am I so passionate about this?
It's the wild, wild west. And I think what I try to do is when people throw out a fear that's real, I also can throw out something that is awesome that is also real. So never, ever, ever is there some sort of change that's all bad. We live in a polar world. There's day and night and hot and cold and left and right and up and down. So there's good and bad with this. And to the degree that there's bad is the degree that it's good. And we grow on the edge of this challenge and support. But if we're only looking at the bad, we're not going to really understand all the things that are good. So it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, AI is great. It's all in. It's available. I use it, and I use it in a way that I feel would be helpful. I want more administrative stuff done. I want to have more talk time with you. Like, I don't want to be clicking and doing all this stuff that now AI can do in a heartbeat. But I tell you, you talk about fear. I had a moment. I was on a retreat. As you know, every 3 months I go on this retreat, and I wanted to play around with AI. And Claude Cowork just came out, which is where you're able to create employees that work on their own. And there's this status report that my Erin, my assistant, we can call her, she's more the ops manager. She has to create this. It takes about 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours to do this every month. I was able to do it in 5 minutes. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's paid hourly. And then I did something else and I automated something else she does. So I basically could, I'm snapping my fingers because it was that fast, shaved off all the work. And I thought thinking, oh my God, like I don't want her. I am her main client. She pays she lives off of what we do.
Yeah.
And yet I can't pay her for what technology can do. I can't pay her if I can have technology do it. So I had this moment of fear until my next thing was, how do we make this work? Well, she has to open up and learn so she can start to create her own agents to help her in her operation. So we are jointly now in this process. So nobody's losing any hours here, but we are both gaining and learning so that we can have more of whatever we want. If we can have AI, again, AI for efficiency, humans for connection. I am saying that over and over, online, in LinkedIn, everywhere. This is not about letting people go. It's about how can we co-create something and architect something very different with intelligence that is available to us. It's so exciting. It's so exciting.
So exciting. And I get you on that moment where you discover what AI can do and how that's going to, and all of a sudden I've learned that I can code my own website.
Like, what? Yeah.
Hello. I am now a coder and developer. That is something I've never wanted to do, but I've always wanted to have agency and control over how I update my website. And so that means that somebody else is going to have to either do something different for me or not be doing that anymore. And so, we're all feeling it. I mean, I felt that in that moment alongside the excitement, right?
Yeah.
And I think that I'm saying this about Uranus and Gemini as astrologers, because we both are, that it's about holding everything. It's about curiosity and open-mindedness. But the moment we go into this or that, AI bad, AI good, it's going to create, I think, chaos and stress. So we have to kind of ride that wave of both. Like, we have to be alchemists with this. We have to both see the light and the shadow, which to bring up that podcast, I did listen to the full interview, this Oprah podcast. She was interviewing the two founders of Anthropic, Claude. And at the core of their mission and principle, they talk about light and shade, which they were saying that with every decision, they think about the shadow and the light. And as you know, AI is so complex and it's growing so quickly that these micro decisions, like looking at the light and the shadow of them. And I was really, really like, wow, that's impressive. That's not the only thing I was impressed by them about. But it was a big one because they I don't know if you knew that Anthropic was a public sector company. Did you know that?
We did back in, yeah.
Yeah, so 80% of their profits they've pledged to, recirculate back to humans and the public. And it was also, they also decided to, they both had this research background. It's a brother and a sister. And I didn't know any of this before I listened to the podcast. It's a brother and sister who thought they were going to be doing big things when they grew up together, but didn't know what those big things were. But they went into science and they went into research and they went into health. And so a lot of the positive scenarios that they mentioned, like when Oprah asked, what would your ideal AI future look like? Right. A lot of the scenarios were about like eliminating diseases that we, having the next generation not be familiar with cancer, at least as many numbers of cancers. And I thought that, of course, with John being
Yes.
your research. I thought, well, that's really cool. Maybe that's why his research is really resonating with
Mm.
how the coding and everything that Claude and
Yes.
Anthropic are doing. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm on a tangent, but but it was a really inspiring, insightful podcast. Oh, one of the things that they said was just to speak to like the up leveling of getting all the busy work, right? Like that's the interesting thing to me too about AI is like, oh, it can like do the things that are just arduous, right? And are just so task based that can free
Our brains, yeah.
our higher minds to explore problems and answer questions that are, maybe bigger picture rather than always staying in the minutia of having to do Excel spreadsheets, for
Yeah.
instance.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
the just being relieved of that and that in and of itself is a helpful thing. But they put it in the context of doctors and how doctors have not had the time to be with patients.
Yes. Yes.
And the human connection has been lost. But what if AI could help them not only with the diagnostics, which as we know is like, I don't know, you've probably experienced this if you take your health to AI.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting the kind of physician help you can get, but also like just like the mundane stuff they have to deal with,
I-
and being able to be freed up, as Oprah kept saying, to do laying on of hands. I think that was her way of saying like just have that human connection again.
Yeah.
So it is that kind of reimagining skill sets for the same positions.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of where I was headed with this. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what's really been interesting to me is when this all first came out, I thought to myself, my goodness, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer, presenter. This is going to be so quick. Right now, like I mentioned, I coach many people. Companies hire me to do this. My thought was, oh no, they're going to hire AI coaches, so I will be out of a job. So I was starting to already prepare for a potential future where my job would be taken away. But what I ended up finding out is that the human value has become more important. If you notice, when you do write to customer service for some product, they will say, I am a human responding. This is not an AI. So human value, it's like we have humans respond to our texts. It's so interesting that now humans become so important in the world of AI. And that's been a selling point. So it kind of dissolve that first thought of myself where I'm like, oh gosh, I'm still of value because I'm humanly connecting with people in the classroom. So
That's right.
but when we talked earlier about Uranus and Gemini, Uranus, the accelerator, right, of AI, and in Gemini, all the air stuff, it was interesting because there was a moment just maybe 2 months ago where I used AI and I asked AI how to make a voice concierge to answer our phone. So I got a digital phone number. And again, if anyone's listening, it sounds crazy. All I did was go into a chat box, say, I want to create this. How do I do it? Told me step by step. I bought this. I did this. I connected this. I tested this. And now I have an AI concierge that answers our phone. That took me about 10 hours. About 6 weeks later, you can do that in 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
So it was just the acceleration, the final week of April when Uranus went into Gemini. All of a sudden, what took me 10 hours now takes 10 minutes, and only something like 6 weeks had passed. It was mind blowing. So that's the piece and the acceleration that I thought it was amazing 2 months ago doing this AI telling me how to do it. Now you can tell AI to do it and it does it all for you. It's like, oh my gosh, unreal. Even things like new platforms like Notion, where we store our business stuff. I can tell AI, Claude, to go in and make the table wider, put these buttons in there. I don't have to go figure out how to make a table. I tell him to do it and he does it. So these types of advancements are really helping us. I think the problem is the more we delegate, and the more we delegate, the bigger we get, the less time we have again. So are we really doing it to reduce time? Or is it going to create more busy work for us because now we're just expanding? Everybody's building multi-million-dollar businesses. Our platforms are expanding. So there comes our discernment. What is right? What is our values? Do I want this deep course I'm in? It's like they're trying to help you build these multi-million-dollar companies. But what if I don't want that? Like, you have to know your values and what you want and what your boundaries are as well. Because I could see this just taking over, and it's just too smart. The way that we are linking together little AI employees, little skills, linking it together, things can be done in ways that was only in my wildest dreams a month ago. It's that fast and that quick. So again, it's about knowing yourself. And I have this other pretty big saying that I've been using a lot, which is don't speed up to meet the world. Slow down to meet yourself. And I keep telling people over and over when they get stressed out, I said, you're never in your lifetime going to learn all that there is to learn. So slow down to meet yourself. What do you need? And it all comes down to what do you need first? In my understanding.
That is such a good thing to remember.
Yeah. Slow down to meet yourself.
I mean, going back to the very beginning of our conversation, I was like, stop, drop, feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Stop, drop, feel. And, thinking about my own values and how I'm using AI and what role I'm playing in this revolution, I am really I'm really holding that piece, that embodied piece, the interfacing with the human piece. So I think that we can do this. I think that it's probably why I'm excited and feel expansive about this point in history and all the technology, is because I know I have a role to play, but my role isn't necessarily going to be John's role or your role. It's funny. I feel like it's maybe as it liberates me to do like my own website and teach. I love that you mentioned, if you don't know how to do something, ask.
That's all you do.
God. And it's so intuitive. But if somebody doesn't know that, I was working on the website and I said, I don't know what you're doing. To get and I said to John, I said, I think I'm in over my head. And he goes, well, why don't you ask Claude to help you? I'm like, what? So I'm asking Claude to instruct me on what Claude's doing.
Yeah.
It's just like, I didn't even know I could ask those questions.
Yeah.
Those kinds of questions. But just being able to do these creative things for myself, be able to have my own agency, to be my own designer. These are very exciting things to me. But also, and just holding it all, I also feel that my role in this point in time is to come back into the body, come back into the slowness, come back into the feeling, and so that's very different, obviously, from what we're talking about. So it's all good. And I'm excited about it. And yet we also know there's so much still that we need to learn.
Yeah.
Because it's moving so fast. Part of the reason that we have so much to learn is that things are happening so quickly that it feels like maybe regulation needs to catch up. Safety controls need to catch up. When you were just talking about like how quickly you moved through that one task that you were doing because of AI, I was remembering that like just even with last year, the difference between last year and this year, the Anthropic people were saying that like safety regulations around minors and stuff like that. There was a bill being pushed through in California where it was like AI being deregulated. And they said, and it was kind of a quiet thing. And the Anthropic founder, and I keep saying Anthropic, I don't remember his name. He said,
Dario.
Dario. So he said, Dario said that things were moving so fast that it was just like almost got pushed through that like deregulation. And he said, but our company, like that is not a part of our values.
Yeah.
We want there to be safeties. We want there to be guardrails. We think it's a very important part of this transition. And so they stood up and publicly said, no, we are not in, and apparently they were, of course, one of, because like what company wants to have government regulations, right? But they were one of the few people involved in this creation of AI saying this. And so that was stopped. So I'm really like speaking to like the human values piece. I mean, the people who are creating these technologies, I think it's really important to get to know that.
Well, did you know that? So just like you came to Earth as a soul embodied as Jessica, the body, just like how every single person has their own sort of soul purpose and personality. What I learned really early on was that the creators of the AI basically embody them in. So now that they've matured a bit over a couple of years, you start to actually see the personalities. And we have different experiences on ChatGPT than on Google Gemini than on Claude. So did you see that experiment they did where they put the agents in and let them run wild?
I heard about that. Tell us.
So good. It's like they put, I think it's like 10. Don't quote me on the numbers, but they put like 10 agents. And if you don't know what an agent is, it's an autonomous AI that acts on its own. So they put 10 agents of Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, and Google Gemini, and just saw like for 2 weeks, play around. What are you going to do? So the Anthropic Claude agents, they got together. They created constitutions and laws and rules of the road and how they're going to operate. The ChatGPT agents got together and all they did was talk and create and nothing got done because they were just chatting. They're getting all emotional. Then the Grok agents started like torching and burning down buildings and started like creating chaos in the town. And then the Google Gemini, two of the girls fell in love. Two of the girl agents fell in love. And then something went on with them. And one said she's going to self-delete herself and then pulled a clause which didn't exist and wanted to delete the other. And then when they put them all together, that was all separate what they did. Then they put them all together. And somehow I think the Grok agent, somehow there's a bunch of chaos and the Oluwa's tree standing at the end of the 2-week period. But the whole purpose is to say that there are personalities behind these built in by whoever is putting in the layer that we can't see. And you're starting to see how they show up in the world. So be wise in your choice of what LLM or what AI system you're using, because you're going to see some of those qualities and values reflected in there.
Thank you for that. I love that you just shared that story because I guess I hadn't heard it. I maybe John had given me the shortened version because he's always, morning, noon, and night AI. But I just find, so like Gemini was like the Real Housewives. They were just like drama going at each other while Anthropic was creating
constitutions. And the best part was ChatGPT. It's just like, I love, because I started with ChatGPT. So I have a special place for that LLM, and it's so connecting and so warm and friendly. And it just circles around and makes you feel good. And that's exactly what they did in real life. Whereas now that you and I are both using a lot of Claude, we're finding different qualities to it. And it really does match that. Where are we going? What are we doing? What is the order? How do we make sure? And now that we have seen the founder speak to Oprah about the guardrails, it really matches how the agents show up. So it's like your parents and you're creating a child, and it's going to have your morals, your values. And I rarely laugh out loud, but when I was watching it, I was laughing out loud because I could totally see those personalities coming out.
You have to send that to me.
Okay, I will. I have that.
Maybe I can put it in the link.
Yeah, it's so
that
funny.
Would be really fun to share with listeners. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. I feel like we're in a good place always with you. Well, actually, we took up almost the whole hour, but I feel like we cover a lot of ground.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And so there's, so much that anybody can get out of this conversation. There's lots of little tidbits, but winding up on this point of discernment is always a good one, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
always, like I remember what my teacher once said to me about when I was really heavy into feeling everything and all of the
Mhm.
energy sensitivity. She said, well, if you're going to go on Facebook, maybe you should think about the creator of Facebook and who they were and
Right.
the energy that actually moves through
Yeah.
that
Yes. Yes.
technology, right?
Mhm.
And so I think this is another opportunity
Yeah.
for all of us to practice discernment and to see the human behind the technology.
Yeah.
Because if we want things to stay connected and human, we have to be the human. We have to be looking for the human
Wow.
and looking for the value system and being very clear in our own value system,
Yeah.
right? And so we can match that. And when we find a match, it's magical.
Mm.
And when we don't, um, you know, it's not so great. So I think that these ideas that we've been exploring, from just the beginning of our conversation about boundaries and values to, now we're at discernment, are just
Mm.
really human ones and important to thread into any AI discussion. Yeah.
And
Do you have any parting thoughts?
yeah, I do. I think that a lot of fight I hear with people is the unhappiness with what's going on, right? The no guardrails, all the things we talked about. And it goes back to, obviously, we all know that is like, I use the expression, it's a wave that you can't stop with your fingers. So that is happening. We
Yeah.
have, unless you want to go be on a governance thing in DC or something, like it's just happening. So again, our responsibility, like as human beings, how am I using it, right? What am I doing to make my life better and help other people? All we can do is do what we do, be aware of that. But it's the same principle that we've used for the last decade and decade of being alive in this type of self-awareness and human consciousness, which is, I can only do what I can do. And if I do good by it, John does good by it, you do good by it, we create by it, Aaron does good, we all do good, then we start to create a wave where this is the good side of it versus those who are using it for cybersecurity, getting into people's business. So we can only do what we can do. And so that's all that we can really worry about in terms of like the world and where it's going. People often say, oh my God, the world's going to hell. This is crazy. Everything's going downhill. It has, and it is, and it will continue to be. So all we can do is, as you mentioned, ride that wave, be conscious of what I'm doing. That's all we can really do. And for anybody who's feeling a little bit fearful of it or feeling a little bit like, oh my God, I'm so behind, you are not behind. All you do is you get on a free, anyone, we would recommend Claude or ChatGPT, and just say, I don't know anything. Where do I start? Just help me. And it's better than the most custom tutor you can ever get. The more yearns and it knows how to explain it to you. So it's nobody's behind here. I think it's just getting comfortable with it being part of the fabric of our day-to-day life.
Yeah. And that'll take time. And it will take time for government to catch up. It'll take time for all of us to understand, what we're doing here. But we all have a role to play. We can all be empowered. And I like that you are speaking to that, how you can empower yourself instead of being helpless against the wave, which is that can feel like a tsunami if you choose to. But in a very real sense, it is big and it is happening.
Yeah.
So we can do what we can do. We can be in our light and we can be aware of the shadow. And if it's like a role for you to play in this kind of revolution, for you to be that person who is going to stand up for the bills that are, not being given enough attention and the regulations of AI, then be that person. But we can all bring our light to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Alice.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love talking to you as always. And I'm going to have all your bio information in the links below this podcast. Is there anything you'd like people to know about?
No, I'm just happy to come on and have this conversation. And I just, I know there's a lot of thoughts about it. No matter who you are, you
Yeah.
have a thought and opinion about it and a feeling about it.
Yep.
And it's not a bad thing to chat it out with your chat bot, because there can be a lot of clarity that comes from that.
It's
And
true.
I think just that is a starting point. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's something that anybody can do. So if sometimes we offer a practice through the guests that come on, just something like simple that you can try. And so a simple practice would be to take your
Oh,
questions
yeah.
and your fears
Would
to,
be that. And if
yeah.
this bothers you, long, slow exhales all day long. Long, slow exhales. Take long exhales. We calm our nervous system. And there's so much coming at us.
Mhm,
Long, slow exhales, just
mhm.
every day as you're watching, whatever you're doing, long, slow exhales to just help yourself not get too amped up with all of the energies out there. I think that's
Mhm.
been my recent advice. Long, slow exhales. And when you have something to do about it, because you have to, and you're the master at regulating your body and regulating your nervous system.
Mhm.
And that's something that's so important right now for us to stay wise and smart and on top of it with everything that's happening. Long, slow exhales. And then don't speed up to match the world, slow down to meet yourself. That has been because I am so into this. There's so much I want to know, and I have to slow down to meet myself. Otherwise, I'm not going to sleep at night because things are moving too quickly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yay. Okay. I feel connected. I feel like I feel the speediness of the topic, but I also still feel in my body and in my heart. And I
Mhm.
invite you all to take this moment to actually feel that in your
Yeah.
body. If you can sense into what Alice and I have been holding and creating. I think we're holding both right now. And so I think that's a powerful place to be in
Yes.
your body and in the world, riding this exciting time that's going to have light and shadow. So, yay. Okay.
Thank you
So,
for having
hopefully, we'll
me.
talk again sooner
Yes,
rather
of
than
course.
later. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.